The most incredible souvenir I can think of is watercolor paint made out of the place that I visited. This is earth that I sourced from Palo Duro Canyon, which is a beautiful canyon located in the panhandle of Texas that I visited in October of 2020 when I was there to photograph a wedding. If you've never heard of Palo Duro Canyon, that's okay. I was born and raised in Texas and didn't hear about it until my 20s. It was an absolute joy to go there because each layer of the canyon is a different color. This orange that I'm working on right now came from near the bottom, but there's also red and yellow, purple and white and pink. It's just incredible. It's like the world was my art supply store. My sister calls my natural earth paints dirt paint, fine art dirt paint, and I think that's hilarious, but she's not wrong. I am literally making watercolor paint out of dirt that I found outside right now. If you would like to make your very own dirt paint, there are a few things that you will need. The first is a glass cutting board. You'll want to use the smooth side to do all of your work on. The next one is watercolor binder. I have a recipe pinned to my page, but I also sell ready-to-use binder in my shop. You'll want a palette knife to help mix things together, and the glass tool that I'm using is called a paint muller. Now these used to be really expensive, but it turns out you can find them on Amazon now for about 20 bucks. To prepare your dirt samples for paint making, you'll want to grind them down as finely as possible. The closer that you can get to a baby powder consistency, the better. There are a few different options that you can use to get your dirt ground down fine enough. The first one is a mortar and pestle, which will give you nice, strong hands. It's a lot harder than it looks. The next one would be to sacrifice a coffee grinder, though be prepared, you might break it. You can also use a rock tumbler. They make ceramic medium that you can put in with them that'll help crush everything down to perfect. So if you went through a quarantine-induced rock tumbling phase and haven't touched it since, you can start making artist pigment with it now instead. I got my fancy dirt paint idea from reading an article about how Rembrandt made his paint out of rocks. All of the colors that you see on there are naturally sourced materials, and I thought, you know what, if they can do it, I could totally do it. So every time I travel now, I look at the dirt. I just want to see what color the dirt is. I also look at the rocks, but it's a whole lot easier to start with stuff that's already ground down. I do have a rock crusher that I bought just because I love making pigments so much, but it's definitely a treat when I can just start with dirt instead of having to fight that rock machine. It's a lot of work. While you are making your fancy dirt paint, I recommend stopping here and there and making a swatch on the paper to see how it looks. And as soon as you're satisfied with the way that it looks on paper, you're done. I thought the top one had too much texture, but the bottom one is perfect.